The three-question filter. You don't get overwhelmed because you're weak. You get overwhelmed because you've been trained to treat yes like it's free. Yes to helping, yes to joining, yes to things you didn't want 5 minutes ago. And at first it feels good, like proof you're ambitious, useful, wanted. But then it hits you. Your calendar is full and you are gone. That's the trap almost no one talks about. Every yes secretly costs something. Time, focus, energy. And once it's spent, it's gone for good. Here's what people who actually protect their sanity do. They run every decision through a filter. 3 brutal questions that save them from drowning. Do I actually want this? Can I do it well without breaking myself? And is it worth what I'll have to give up for it? If it's not a full-body yes to all 3, it's a no. And here's the plot twist. The moment you start saying fewer yeses, your real life starts to show up. Because your future isn't hiding behind more effort. It's hiding behind all the fake yes you've been too scared to stop giving away. The boring streak. Motivation is a liar. It shows up loud, makes promises, then vanishes. The second things stop feeling exciting. That's why most people stay stuck in cycles. They start something new, a routine, a project, a habit, and for the first few days, they're electric. They tell everyone about it. They buy gear, make plans, post updates. Then, boredom creeps in. And they think that boredom means they've failed. But here's the truth. Boredom is the doorway. Every person you think is disciplined isn't more motivated than you. They've just learned how to walk through boredom without flinching. They stop asking, do I feel like it today? They start asking, can I keep the streak alive? They track nothing but days. One more day, one more rep, one more brick. And something strange happens. When you survive the boring middle, consistency becomes automatic. It stops being a fight. It becomes who you are. The streak turns boring, and boring turns you unstoppable. The effort budget. Here's the real reason you always feel behind. You plan your day like you're superhuman. You load your to-do list with 12 big tasks, pretend interruptions won't exist, and assume you'll have full focus for 14 hours straight. Then reality hits. Slack pings. Your brain stalls. Energy crashes. And you start thinking you're lazy. You're not lazy. You're overspending your effort. Most people only measure time. They forget the real currency of achievement is energy, and you only get a limited supply each day. High performers know this. They treat effort like cash. Before doing anything, they ask, is this worth my energy? And if the answer's no, they cut it. No guilt, because they know every yes steals fuel from what actually matters. Here's the paradox. When you stop trying to do everything, you finally have the power to finish something. Once you protect your energy like it's money, you stop ending every day drained and start ending it proud. The one-decider rule. Most people lose the day before it even starts. They wake up and walk straight into decision quicksand, checking messages, answering everyone else's emergencies, letting a dozen tiny distractions eat their brain before breakfast. And by the time they finally sit down to do what matters, their mental battery is already empty. Here's what top performers do instead. They make one hard decision first. Not 5, not their whole to-do list, just the single decision they've been avoiding. The one that would actually move their life forward. They make it before they check the world, before opinions get in their head, before fear has time to wake up. And something wild happens when you do this. That one choice snaps everything else into place. Suddenly, the rest of the day feels lighter, because your brain has proof you're in control. This is how momentum starts. Not from doing 100 things, but from doing one thing that matters before the world interrupts. 5-minute focus. Wins procrastination doesn't happen because you're lazy. It happens because your brain thinks starting is dangerous. It looks at the task, the essay, the workout, the email, and imagines the whole mountain at once. The pressure, the perfection, the potential to screw it up. So it freezes. You open your phone. You say, I'll do it later, and later quietly becomes never. Here's how you break the loop. Shrink the task until it's impossible to fear. Tell yourself, I'm only doing 5 minutes. Set a timer. Start badly if you have to. Promise you can quit the second the timer goes off. 9 times out of 10, you won't. Because once you're moving, the fear dissolves. Momentum kicks in. And suddenly, the thing that felt impossible is halfway done. That's the trick high achievers use. They don't wait to feel ready. They just start small enough that their brain can't protest. 5 minutes is the wedge that splits resistance wide open. Use it, and procrastination doesn't stand a chance. Daily proof. Log. Most people aren't stuck because they're failing. They're stuck because they can't see their progress. They do the work, the small, quiet, unglamorous reps. They push through the boring middle. But because there's no instant reward, their brain erases it like it never happened. So they wake up feeling like they're going nowhere, while quietly getting stronger. Here's the fix. Every night, write down one thing you did that proves you're improving. It can be microscopic. I opened my notes app instead of Instagram. I said no when I usually people please. I wrote one paragraph. That's it. One line a night. And something strange happens. Within weeks, your brain starts scanning for progress automatically. You stop asking, am I even getting better? And start thinking, of course I am. I have proof. That tiny log becomes your shield against self-doubt. A trail of evidence that says, you're not stuck, you're becoming. The Do It Now Reflex. Here's a sneaky way your brain steals your energy. Every time you say, I'll do it later, your mind quietly opens a tab for it and keeps it running in the background. You don't notice it, but by the end of the day, you've got 47 mental tabs open and zero energy left to do anything meaningful. This is why tiny tasks feel so heavy, not because they're hard, but because you've been carrying them all day without finishing them. High performers fix this with one simple reflex. If it takes less than 2 minutes, they do it now. No debate, no list, no later. Send the email. Throw out the trash. Reply, file, reset, clear. Because the task itself isn't the drain. The delay is. Once you do it immediately, the tab closes. Your brain exhales, and suddenly you've got bandwidth back for the big things. It's not about speed. It's about mental silence. And silence is where real work happens. Micro-reflection nights. Most people never learn from their days because they never pause long enough to see them. They just crash into bed with noise still echoing in their heads, then wonder why every day feels like a blur of the same mistakes. Here's the hidden unlock. 3 minutes of reflection before bed. Not a diary, not a full post-mortem, just 2 questions. What fueled me today? What drained me today? That's it. Simple, but deadly effective. Because the moment you notice those patterns, you stop dragging invisible weights into tomorrow. You stop thinking, I'm broken, and start thinking, oh, that's just what drains me. I can change that. Within days, your brain starts adjusting on its own. You'll do more of what gives you energy and quietly remove what doesn't, without forcing it. Most people live on repeat. You'll start living on upgrade. Scheduled nothing time. Here's the paradox no one talks about. The more you fill your schedule, the less productive you become. Most people live like they're on a conveyor belt. Every minute packed, every second spoken for. They think if they just stay moving, they'll win. But all they end up with is noise. Because your brain isn't built for non-stop output. It needs white space, silence, to connect dots, recharge, and reset. That's why the smartest people schedule what almost looks irresponsible. Blocks of nothing. They literally write nothing in their calendar. No phone, no work, no catching up, just stillness. And here's what happens. The mental static fades. Ideas surface. Your body exhales. It feels lazy, but it's the opposite. It's maintenance. Because when you stop treating stillness like weakness, you finally discover it's the fuel that makes your focus possible. Weekly priority map. Most people drift through their weeks like debris in a current. Emails pull them one way, deadlines yank them another. They end every Friday busy but with nothing to actually show for it. Here's the fix. Stop starting weeks blind. Before the chaos begins, spend 15 quiet minutes making a weekly priority map. List just 3 things, not 30, that, if you finish them, would make the whole week feel like a win. Then guard those 3 like they're non-negotiable meetings. Because they are. If something random pops up, you check the map first. Does this move the mission forward? If not, it waits. And this is where your life flips. You stop reacting to everyone else's emergencies and start steering your own direction. Most people let their week decide what matters. You'll decide first, and everything else will have to work around it. The trigger swap. Here's the real reason your bad habits won't die. They don't start with choices. They start with triggers. You don't decide to scroll. Your thumb just moves the second you sit down. You don't choose late-night snacking. Your brain just fires the moment you walk into the kitchen. It's not weakness. It's wiring. Every habit runs on the same loop. Trigger arrow. Action arrow. Reward. And if you keep trying to fight the action, you'll keep losing. Because the trigger always fires first. High performers don't try to out-willpower their bad patterns. They just swap the trigger. Phone always distracting you? Move it out of reach. Can't stop snacking at night? Put a water bottle where the chips usually sit. Want to read more? Leave a book on your pillow every morning. You're not deleting habits. You're rewriting the autopilot script. And once the trigger changes, the whole behavior chain quietly collapses with it. Public mini-commitments. Here's why most people quit in secret. No one knows they even started. When your goals live only in your head, they're easy to abandon. Skip 1 day, 2 days, and suddenly that new habit is just another silent failure you pretend never happened. The antidote? Tiny commitments, made public. Not huge, intimidating goals, micro ones. I'm walking 10 minutes today. I'm posting 1 draft tonight. I'm writing 1 paragraph before bed. Tell 1 friend, or say it out loud online. It's called social friction. Once people know, quitting gets uncomfortable, And that discomfort becomes fuel. You stop thinking, I hope I stick to this, and start thinking, I said I would, so I will. And here's the twist. After a while, you won't need the audience anymore, because keeping your word will become who you are. The stop list. Most people try to fix their life by adding more routines, more hacks, more habits, and then wonder why they're exhausted, and nothing actually changes. Because here's the hidden truth. Your plate isn't too small. It's just full of stuff that doesn't matter anymore. You don't need more discipline. You need a stop list. Once a week, ask yourself, what am I done doing? The pointless check-ins. The draining side projects you said yes to out of guilt. The fake obligations that keep eating your time but never move your life forward. Write them down and stop doing them deliberately. At first it feels wrong, like you're slacking. But that's just the burnout talking. Because subtraction creates more space than addition ever will. And that space is where your real growth finally fits. The energy gate. Most people organize their days by time. The smart ones organize by energy. Here's why that matters. Your brain doesn't run at full power all day. It has peaks, moments where you're sharp, alive, unstoppable, and valleys where you're basically a zombie with Wi-Fi. Most people accidentally burn their peak hours on emails, meetings, errands, and then try to do their real work when they're already running on fumes. High performers flip it. They find their energy gate, the 2 to 3 hours a day they feel clearest, and guard it like it's sacred. No calls, no distractions, only the tasks that actually move the mission forward. Because one focused hour at full power is worth 5 distracted ones while drained. Once you start building around energy, not time, you stop crawling through your days and start flying through them. The identity anchor. Here's the truth no one tells you. Most habits fail, not because they're hard, but because they don't match who you think you are. You can force yourself to wake up early, eat clean, work out, hustle, but if deep down you still see yourself as someone who's always behind, your brain will keep pulling you back there. It's not sabotage, it's survival. Your mind fights anything that threatens your identity, even if that thing would change your life. So here's the real move. Anchor your habits to your identity. Stop saying, I'm trying to be productive. Say, I'm the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. Not, I want to write. I'm a writer, so I write. Once your brain believes it's who you are, the habit stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like proof. Because willpower fades, identity doesn't. Change how you see yourself and everything else starts obeying that new version of you.